we were talking about DABDA. Denial. Anger. No. See, this is all about coming to accept. I hate to say it. It's really the person who someone named Dr. Kubler-Ross was the woman who came up with this whole process that people go through in grieving. Grieving about themselves, grieving about somebody else. Meaning, like, if they know they're very sick and it looks really bad, so they go through a bunch of stages. The first stage is, she calls it DABDA. And at the end, hopefully they get to acceptance. And they can make whatever arrangements are necessary. But there are plenty of people who fight it and say, no. So the first thing is denial. No, it's not happening. They're not sick. Then there's anger. Why me? Why I did everything right? Then there's bargaining. And bargaining is, you know what? I think there's a treatment in like Uruguay. If I go to Uruguay and I do this, that, and I stand on banana leaves, and I wrap myself up, then no, it's happened. I'm not joking. This goes on. So listen, I know some very intelligent people who tried all kinds of stuff when they were very sick, and they were it's bargaining. I'm going to try something. And people go through it all the time. And then after the B of bargaining, they get to D, depression, because the banana leaves didn't work. You know, if you eat this and this and this, tons of it, tons of vitamin C, it's going to be better. And it doesn't work. And how do they feel? Depressed. And then it should finally come after the depression and they've hit rock bottom and they come to the recognition that they just have to deal with it and accept it. That would be the A. However, in my experience, after the depression, people say, no, it's not true. I'm not. They go over the cycle again. Woo, 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 woo. And sometimes they mix it up. So they go from depression to bargaining. You know what? I found a new idea. If I try this thing, let's try that. So they try bargaining again. They bargain. Maybe if I do this, this will work, or that would. Then, doesn't work. Depression. No anger. Why do I have to go through this? No one else has to go through this. Fine. Then they go back to back, forth, goes through it, because they don't want to have to make what is it? A commitment, a change. They don't want to do it. It's hard. Change is very difficult. Any change is difficult. Even, switching roommates. You know, people go through this whole process. I believe they go through this by any type of change. It's not just by grieving, it's any change. A person wants to they want to lose weight. Decide they want to lose weight. So first thing they say is, I think I'll look good. Denial. Meantime, they're very overweight. They're popping out of their clothes. Everything just doesn't fit anymore. So you go, what? They go, you got to lose weight. They go to the doctor, and the doctor says, this is not good. Got to lose weight. It's very dangerous. So they anger. Why me? Why do I have this kind of metabolism? I have a friend. He can eat whatever he wants, and he has no problem. He eats ice cream and candy and all kinds of garbage all day long. He's got fine. There's no cholesterol problem. There's no this and that. Why me? Why should I be stuck with this? Anger. Bargaining. You know what? I think if I take lots of magnesium and potassium, I think it could, I read on the internet, I could end up, washing away all the fat in it. And someone's going, no. The way to stop it is to stop eating so much and put down all those corned beef sandwiches, and you got to walk a little bit or exercise. You go, you know what, I'm telling you, I saw online magnesium and whatever, and if you do special, the sodium, potassium, and they come up with a whole plan, bargaining. And then after that doesn't work, because they lost about a half a pound, and then they gained 14 more. So then they go, what do they become? Depressed. But then they go, it's not true. I really am great. I'm going to buy a new suit. That's it. Simple. They try a new suit, and it works. They look good for a little while till maybe grow into that one. Still don't lose any weight. And they're going, why is this happening to me? They go through the anger, then the bargaining. I'm going to go on the Atkins diet. That's it. You can eat as many steaks as you want. I know people, they lost tons of weight from the Atkins diet and ketosis and really amazing. I know a guy, very heavy guy, very overweight, and he decided he's going to bicycle to work every day. It's 16 miles each direction. He's going to bike to work through the city, to Manhattan. And he's going to go from Brooklyn to this and that, and you got to go over a bridge and under the bridge and through a tunnel, up the tunnel, whatever. And he's going to do it every day in the rain and the snow and all these other problems and the flat tires that he got. And he actually lost a lot of weight. He did. And he tried this Atkins diet, and he lost a ton of weight. And it was really amazing. When I saw him next, I was like, wow, amazing. And he goes, yes, this is because of my bicycling. And he's sitting there and he's eating. I was out with him for dinner, and he mamish ate 2 steaks and like incredible amount of like chicken wings. And he was like, I was like, wow, how are you able to lose all these? He goes, no, because I'm on the Atkins diet. And with the Atkins diet, you can eat as much fat as you want, and you can eat as much protein as you want, and that's what you can only eat protein and fat. But you can't have any of this, you can't have that. I'm like, so you can't eat any fruits? No. Can't have any vegetables? No. Can't have any like carbs? No. So no rice? No. No bread? No. Cookies, crackers, nothing. None of that. So I'm like, so basically you eat all day long. He goes, yeah, but I love it. I'm eating. He's talking to me as he walks out the door. He's got some beef jerky in his pocket. He says, he pulls out beef jerky. He says, I can't chew gum, but I could chew beef jerky. So he like bit off a piece of beef jerky, and we're talking like a guy who like is a cow. No, not a cow. Like a guy who, because that's people who chew gum, but like a guy who is like got chewing tobacco. Because it's like, it's brown. So like as he's talking, his teeth are like got all this brown juice, and he's going, trying to let the juice drip down. And it's like dripping down the side of his mouth a little bit. He just goes, I'm like going, whoa, you know what I mean? He goes, look at me like, you all right? I'm going, yeah, so yeah, it's great. Meantime, he goes off the Atkins diet, and whoa, my God. I'm sure, forget that bicycling. Can you imagine? That would be painful. Yeah, he gained a ton of weight like this. And I don't want to say anything next time. I mean, I'm not going to say what happened to Atkins or whatever it is, but that would be bargaining. So how did he feel afterwards? Depressed. Because he didn't really change a whole lot. He did some kind of a bargaining diet that he can't really maintain. And going bicycling every day in and out of Manhattan is not sustainable. So if that's your only exercise, that's going to be a shvach exercise. So you didn't really get into an exercise regime, program that he's going to really keep up going 3 times a week to exercise. So bottom line is, he gained right back very, very big. And he's depressed and angry. So he goes back between depression and anger. And his denial is to just wear stretch pants. Really. That's it. And he doesn't care. Or he says he doesn't care. So general goes back and forth. So that's the process it goes through until finally, at some point, somebody has to come to the recognition of acceptance. Accept that I have to change, I want to change, and I'm going to do what it takes to really implement this change in a way that's going to be lasting. So gentlemen, that's the way it always is for anybody. You go through a whole, whatever type of change it is. Person makes an acceptance. I want to finish Shas. I want to finish a Masechta. I have this goal, whatever goal it is, it's the same thing. Guy says, I want to finish a Masechta. I want to finish Gemara, Rosh Hashanah. And I want to do it. And they start off, and how long is it going to take me to finish Rosh Hashanah? I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going for it. I'm not planning it. I'm just doing it. Jump in. Well, they have no plan. So they come to Night Seder, and they, whatever it is, they start learning, but they don't really, they have a chavrusa, not have a chavrusa. So how quickly does that end? Pretty fast. So now they're angry. I tried. What do you think? I didn't try? And then the denial. Well, you think I'm not going to finish it? I'm going to finish it. I'm telling you I'm going to finish it. I'm finishing it. Okay. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. Time goes by. And so far they have not done much. They barely started. And they said that they're going to finish, because they gave themselves this real long-term goal, they're going to finish by Pesach. Which, definitely could have done. If they would have done it consistently, they would have done it very comfortably. But now it's getting closer to Pesach, and they realize it's now maybe a couple of weeks, 2 weeks before Purim. And to finish by Pesach, that's going to be a toughie. So they decide, now I'm going to learn a blot a day, a page a day. Wow. That's a real, that's very, that's like, it's not reality. So that's a bargaining. I'm going to finish it a page a day. And then they don't. And how do they feel? Depressed. And now comes Pesach, and they go, now it's the end of the year, just about. It's all over. And they get just depressed. Now, did they say, okay, I have it, let's reset it, let's do it properly, acceptance, let's figure out how to do it. That is what people need to do. And the people who are smart, they get to acceptance early on. They don't go through the whole process and keep going and going and going. They make a commitment, they come up with a plan, how they're going to change, how they're going to accomplish the goal, and they just get to the acceptance. Excuse me?
And stick.
Well, it's not stick to it as much as have a plan that makes sense. See, because if a guy goes, I'm going to stick to it, I'm going to learn a page every 10 minutes. I mean, you're not going to do it. It's not reality. I'm going to learn a page every day. It's not reality. So if a guy says, okay, I'm setting the plan, let's readjust. Now it's called acceptance. This is not a great situation. I'm not going to finish by Pesach. So let's readjust and set it for Shavuos or whatever, the summer. But set it up and have a plan that makes sense and that is normal. And commit to the plan, like you said, stick to it. But if a guy just says, I'm going to do I'm going to finish, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to tapes, these online recordings, and I'm going to finish the whole Masechta in a week. Because I figure it's about 35 pages, and what I'm going to do is, if I learn for 5 days, 7 hours a day, listening to those classes, done. I knocked it out. 7 hours a day, not so hard. I'm just going to tell, the Rebbes, I've got something more pressing. I've got to finish this Masechta. So I'm going to spend. So you know what ends up happening? They quit shir because they got this Hail Mary pass that they're going for, this big long shot, and they quit shir. And then so the first day, they sit down and they have the recordings, and they're listening to it. They get through one page and they go, "Whoa, this is intense. Wow, I'm kind of lost over here, but you know what? Good, I'm just listening. Let's keep listening." So they listened to another half or 3/4 of one. So they did about an hour and 45 minutes. And by then, they're burnt out. So they already quit shir, and now they're feeling even worse because now, what am I going to do? Go back to shir? So no. So what I'm going to do is so they do a little bit more every day. They do a blot a day, and they end up doing 5 blot, 7 blot, and they didn't finish it. And now they're still feeling upset. Gentlemen, that's not acceptance. Instead of going through all these bargainings and crazy ideas and the anger and the depression and the denial and no, it's not true, I'm going to do it. You got to make a commitment Come up with a plan that makes sense.
Stick to it.
Yeah, but it's got to be a commitment with a plan that makes sense. It's not just the sticking to it. Because the sticking to it, if it's not something that's really sustainable, it's not going to happen. Like this guy who says, I'm going to drive, I'm going to ride on my bicycle every day. Here, he's a very heavy guy. He's going to ride his bicycle every day, 16 miles there and 60 miles back in the snow, in the rain. At some point, he's just going to stop one day because it's too much. So the next day, it's like, it's still raining and cold. I'm not going to do it again. Another day, I'm not going to do it. And then soon that week goes by, he doesn't do it. And that means he's still not exercising. And then if it's a week, and then it's longer, and he's waiting till it's nice weather, and then one day was nice, but the next day is lousy. So he doesn't do it. So the bottom line is, he quit the whole goal. He quits the whole goal. So gentlemen, the goal has to be sensible, doable, and with a plan. A smart plan. And the reason I bring that up is because I want to see people, instead of just saying, yeah, no, you can be very accomplished. But you have to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, you're not going to do anything. Nothing. You will do nothing. And I know so many people who talk, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they end up doing nothing. And the classic case that I keep always remembering is this guy I went to, he was supposedly not a psychologist, but a therapist of a drug rehab place. And I went to visit one of the patients who was there, who I sent to this rehab place. And met his therapist, and the therapist, when I spoke to him, I asked the therapist, wow, it's like, how long have you been doing this for? So he goes, I've been doing this for a couple years. I said, wow, so you make it this like, this is, what's your background? So he says, well, I have this, I don't yet have my license, and I didn't, but I'm not really looking at doing this long term. He says, this is really just holding for me a job, but I really want to get into the financial side of it. And that means I want to run the offices and run all the billing and oversee the marketing, et cetera, of that aspect of the company. So I don't want to do the therapy. So I said, okay, great. So what are you doing towards that? So he said, well, I'm getting a master's in business, an MBA. I said, oh, wow, where are you going? So he goes, well, I said, oh, how long is that going to be? He says, 2 years. So I said, wow, 2-year, MBA program. That's pretty intense. Like, where are you going? He goes, I haven't decided exactly where I'm going. I said, so it's not in 2 years because you haven't yet gotten into a program. When are you getting into the program? He goes, well, I have to decide which program. I said, when are you going to decide that? He goes, well, I have to first look into programs. I said, so you haven't even looked into the programs, but you're telling me it's going to be in 2 years? You're not even looked at a program to decide to then get into it, to then start it. I said, this could take a while. So he goes, why are you talking to me about this? You're not my therapist. I said, I'm not here to be a therapist. I just asked you, like, you said that I'm just wondering what the plan is. He goes, my plan is my business. So you know what that basically is saying? Not just butt out of it.
Shut up.
But he's saying, no, it's not even just shut up. He's just saying, I don't have a plan. So stop bothering me. Denial. I'm doing it. Really? How are you doing it? I'm doing it. Denial. So it's the first step. So here's a therapist giving a whole drasha to other people about not being in denial when he's clearly himself seriously into denial in his own life. And he's not been able to start his own career. So gentlemen, we all go through this in different ways. But the first thing is you got to decide, I really want to have a goal. Let me sit down with somebody and make it a very practical plan to be able to accomplish that. Let's think positive. Let's have a great day.